Hello everybody, this is KyP Astroh, and I figured why not show you guys some of the things I like to play around with in After Effects to get you some creative results, interesting effects, whatever you like. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things that are fun to use when editing, mostly gaming, but real life footage too is cool. You can play around with all of these, but as you may know, After Effects is one of the most powerful pieces of editing software and one of the most well known. Has tons of effects, animation presets, you named it, has it for editing. It's pretty much the go-to place for all kinds of effects, and that sounded like a commercial. So, I'm just going to show you guys kind of what I like to play around with when I don't have any ideas or, whatever, so I can kind of be creative, make up my own stuff instead of having to just, watch tutorials and just copy them. So whenever you want to, whenever you want to make something unique, you can kind of play around with these and try to figure out what you can make. So first off, with most effects, I kind of like to apply them via an adjustment layer. So I'm just going to make a layer above my clip, an adjustment layer, there you go. So that's just going to hold the effects and apply them to everything underneath it. So it's just a simple way to toggle on and off before and afters and whatnot, so you can see kind of what you're doing. But first off, in editing, you'll see this a lot, CC Lens, basic effect. This is what you get for the screen warping. Pretty much so everyone gets After Effects to use CC Lens as as it is kind of one of the best or well most interesting effects. You can just keyframe this back and forth. So that's what that does. You can also use it on text or whatever you want to get a cool curvy warped effect. But so there's one. This one you can use for masking transitions. This does is if you go to cutaway, you can adjust the amount of cutaway and make a cool kind of ideal 2010 style transition. You turn the softness up like super high, like above 120, and then when you adjust the cutaway, it will kind of do that. And that's just nice. You can use it on multiple layers in a masking transition or whatever you want to do. This one you can keyframe just the same, and it's just kind of a unique effect. Some people really don't, actually don't really see it used too often, so it's kind of nice. I use it once in a while. Next up, we're going to have Venetian blinds, which is a classic, and you can just search blinds. Should come up. This is a transition. It's basically a screen cutting kind of thing. You can adjust the width of these. You normally don't want that many. I usually do something like this. Maybe angle it. That's kind of cool. You can also keyframe the rotation so it spins while it's opening up. You can also feather it, which just kind of looks different. It's kind of like more of a I don't know. It's kind of an illusion when you feather it. It like plays with your eye when you watch that. But just kind of neat. It's another effect to play with that some people don't notice or don't check out all the possibilities of. I'm not really going to go over Magic Bullet looks in this tutorial because that's kind of a whole nother thing. And Magic Bullet looks is super nice. It's a color correction program. You can grab presets or make your own. I just use Baker's presets. Shout out to Baker. He's super good and he makes amazing presets. Helps out the whole community with his tutorials as well. So that's great. Yeah, so there's also perspective stuff that's kind of interesting. You can play around with screen warping and stuff, like with radius and whatnot. These you kind of have to play with the settings if you want them to do what you want. Things like getting them to go back to the original position or whatever. But you can just play around with stuff like that, and it's just kind of interesting. Radial shadow. I don't even know what this is. Never tried it. And it doesn't appear to be an obvious effect. Not sure what not sure what that does. I'll look that up later. But After Effects is nice because I see a lot of people that kind of struggle with it and don't like play around. Like they're really afraid to use stuff that they haven't seen used before. And so I kind of encourage that. There's so much here that you can always, you can always play around with things. There's so many possibilities. I mean, this one you see a lot in dubstep edits. They use bulge where they keyframe these two, the horizontal and vertical radius, like this, and then it like warps the screen out and then warps it back. Might have seen that before, where the screen like pulses in the center. That's kind of cool. Let's see. Oh, overused effect. You can go for a radial blur, which is super overused. Looks like that. You've probably seen this a million times because I see it all the time. It kind of looks. It does that. It racks the skew or whatever. Like it throws 2 layers of pixels out of alignment around the edges, and it looks like that. It's kind of cool, but very overused. You can be creative with this though. One thing I like doing is if you have it, drop the center on the scope or something round. Gives that cool kind of look. It's kind of interesting. It looks like the world is like rotating around the scope. Almost a 3D effect, but yeah, that's an idea for you. There's a lot of amazing animation presets. You can check these out. There's like special effects here, like the weak TV effect, which kind of makes it look like a, messed up TV, bad signal, whatever. We also have cracked tiles. I've used this one many times. I don't see it used very much at all. It's very cool. You can just adjust the cracking amount here, and it goes shoot, like it separates. The tiles across, you can adjust, how many there are. This is even kind of a neat looking kind of thing. You can use this as kind of a transition, or not a transition, well, yeah, I guess. You can use it as a transition, or like while he's doing something, it can go like, shoo, in and out like that. Or whatever, you can get tons of ideas. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I'm sure that if you understand keyframing, you can look at these and maybe get a few ideas that would interest you. For the Twitch plugin, if you have it, there's a few interesting things you can do with Twitch. If you go to Enable and Slide, I'll just throw the little side-to-side kind of off the film reel kind of look. But I'm going to want to adjust the numbers, or the amount, so it's like not super high. I use mine about between 10 and like 20. For the speed, if you want it to continuously do that, put it above 10, and it'll like continuously jiggle like an earthquake kind of effect. If you want it to be subtle, you can go anywhere from like 2 to 6, and it won't do it all the time. It'll just once in a while to go zoop, zoop, zoop. And one thing that's nice that you see a lot that some people never show you how to do at all is if you go down into operator controls and then slide, you can adjust the RGB split, which is what Idol uses a lot, and looks like that. And it's kind of a famous look, and some people tell you have to like keyframe the 3D effect thing, and yeah, and you could just do this and it's cool. If you lower the slide amount a lot to like 1 and then take the RGB split up really high, it will pretty much just do the RGB split, I believe. Oh yeah, and then you turn the amount up a lot and the speed up a lot. Pretty sure though, yeah. So it doesn't really twitch the screen very much. It just does like a cool like a RGB split or separation of the tones of the color. So it's kind of interesting. You can play around with that idea. See, what else do we have? We got well, if you're gonna play around with text, there's a lot you can do. This is probably gonna be the last part because this video is getting long. But if you play around with text, you can draw some text like text. I'm sure that was the best thing I could come up with. And let me just make this a little bigger. I actually do it this way, not increasing the size. I don't know why. You can increase the size. I guess it'll be higher quality because it will actually increase the text instead of scaling it up. But this is a cool font, by the way. This is called Earwig Factory. I don't know where I got it, but if you have it, it's cool to play with. It's a very cool font. What did I just do? Yeah. But with text, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. There's some nice animation presets for text that if you tweak them a little, they'll look unique. They'll look like you put work into it. But for 3D text, there's all sorts of stuff. If you go 3D flip and rotate, if you go into that, if you apply one of these, they usually come up under text and then an animator. And then if you grab a range selector, you can set when they begin and end. But yes, why is this doing nothing at all? It's kind of disappointing. I'll just pick a different one. What do we got? You can play with these. Some of them are easier to use than others. Some are too much of a pain, but Come on now, let me get one that works right away so I can show you. Oh, if you go to movement transitions, I know these work. Pixel Storm card wipe thing. This one you can adjust the completion of it, and it should twist the. Oh wow, that's why it wasn't working. It was on the empty layer that I somehow randomly made. That's pretty nice. Yeah. There you go. This Pixel Storm transition is sweet. It looks like it's assembling in 3D. If you play around with the settings of this transition, you can use it with masking and make it look like things on screen are assembling in 3D, which is what I used in that OCE remix where like I assembled the gun on screen. I kind of played with this effect a little. It's not like not this stock right out of After Effects, but it's similar. So yeah, hopefully you can kind of get some ideas, maybe stuff you haven't done before in After Effects. I don't know, combine things together, see what you can come up with, because After Effects is real lenient with your ability to play around with stuff. You can always experiment, and yeah, there's a lot that looks good that I see that people like never do. So maybe you can get an idea. I hope I helped. Why not? But this is gonna be Astro, and I'm signing out.